people, and we're here again with another reading into... Now, I've been asked for quite a while to look into the karmic situation around Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, particularly around why they were together and kind of what's the implications of that, and also around Amber Heard's karma for what's happened. And so finally I'm getting around to have a look at this. I'm really looking forward to this. It's a fascinating topic, and it's a topic that I have looked into a great deal, mainly because, like I've always said, if you watched any of my other Johnny Depp and Amber Heard videos, his situation was very much like my own, in that we both grew up with narcissists and then we both had a relationship with narcissists later on. And obviously I wanted to know why that had happened to me, and I kind of, obviously I'm into understanding that karmic path and that past lives and pre-incarnation planning and the Akashic records, etc. So obviously I've looked into this, so I'm really looking forward to diving into this with you. So let's get straight on with it. Hi. Right, so in this reading we are looking at Johnny Depp and Amber Heard and why this whole situation occurred. Now I'm going to do just a general spread here while I say a few things. I'm going to do a general spread on this whole situation. Now I do want to say Spirit knew that this court case was going to be significant in the Truther movement, because they called my attention to it specifically to pay attention in terms of the exposing of the truth through this trial. Now, whether Johnny Depp did, I don't think, I've got on many occasions, that's not even Amber Heard, that was a clone in there. She went on the run, that's what I got anyway. But obviously that wasn't the case in the relationship. Obviously that was Amber Heard in the relationship, and I really genuinely do believe that she's a narcissist and that she abused Johnny Depp. That's what I've got all along, that's what I felt all along. However, whether Johnny Depp knows that or not, or whether Amber Heard knows that or not, obviously that's what we're here to seek. Now, my understanding is, in karmic situations, is that when we are in a situation where we are with, for example, a narcissist, and being mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, sexually abused in any way, sorry, trigger warning, I should have said that. It is because we have been in a situation in the past where we have hurt that particular person in that specific way. For example, trigger warning, if you are, let's take Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, because that's exactly what we're looking at here. He's in a situation where he was born into a family with a mother who was quite clearly a narcissist, from what he says, and I do believe what he said was true. I'm pretty sure I did a read on that already, that in a previous incarnation he would have been in a situation where he abused, purposely or not purposely, that particular soul. And so when we come to our pre-incarnation planning, which is a process, I understand, that we choose that we're going to pay that karma back. Now, we don't have to pay the karma back in that particular life, but at some point we're going to have to pay that karma back, particularly if we are going to ascend. Now, there could be a greater purpose for that. For example, when we choose, specifically in my case, and we're going to look into it, but in Johnny Depp's case, we come into a situation where we are placed in that situation as a helpless child, it puts perceptual restrictions on us, and then we unconsciously, subconsciously seek that out in later life. However, when we've already agreed to meet a particular person who will cause that, who will recreate that situation in later life, we obviously not only pay back the karma that we may have caused from a previous life, which is obviously the case, we also have a chance to relive that, to heal that wound. So it's doubly beneficial, it's triply beneficial actually, because number one, we've repaid the karma, number two, we heal that wound from this life, but number three, it should or could or has the opportunity to open us up to not only healing others through our experience, as we have experienced with Johnny Depp, and changing the world, for example, changing the perception of not only the what's going on in Hollywood, for example, in this case, but also men's abuse by women, which is, in my opinion, been a suppressed area. But also allows us to become more introspective and perceptive of the ego and our soul, and move to higher levels of awareness ourselves through that experience. And I know that not only through my experience and Johnny Depp's experience. I'm not saying he's enlightened. I really don't know. I've never heard him speaking about this. I don't know whether he has or not. If you have, let me know in the comments below. But I've lost my train of thought now, sorry. Oh yes, through the people that I've spoke to, other light workers that I've spoken to about this, many light workers do have this abusive past. And when we are in our pre-incarnation planning, we understand this and accept this as part of the process for the reasons that I've described. Now, that is my understanding of the process. And that is how I understand this situation to be. Now, I'm going to be checking this as well. Now, I do have other questions around this that I want to explore as well, but I'm getting very strongly here that yes, it was upsetting, it was very hurtful. He felt trapped in this. Maybe they both felt trapped in this, although obviously in the fact that there is a pre-life plan, there is also free will. Now, he chose to incarnate with his mother, who had a karmic relationship with, to repay that karma. However, his mother didn't have to choose to abuse him. From what we understand from the situation, from what he said, that's what happened, and I believe that to be the truth. Amber Heard also made the choice to follow that same path, and I do want to look later on at her karma, but also the exposing why she did this, because I've had it brought to my attention. I mean, we knew all along that she'd sold her soul to the devil by becoming involved in Hollywood in the first place. We know from what we've heard that she was involved in the parties. We can truly believe that she was involved also in the ceremonies as well. And also, apparently, there's been some stuff coming to light about someone said to me about the DUI guy talking about exposing her connection to some dodgy people. I think he mentioned Michelle Dorber. I think that was her name. If I've got that wrong, please leave a message in the comments below as well. It was something to do with the feminist movement. Now, we know that the dark hats do this. They cause a group to be oppressed, and then they form the group to oppose that oppression so that they can jump on that bandwagon and manipulate us even more. We've seen it with Black Lives Matter, we've seen it with the Jewish community, and obviously we've seen it with women as well. And I'm pretty sure nobody can deny that women have been oppressed, the Jewish community have been oppressed, and the blacks, to mention the black community has been oppressed. I'm pretty sure nobody can deny that that's happened, and that the black hats cause that to happen and then jump on the bandwagon to oppose that so that no one can oppose them. I've looked into this in the Kanye West and Candace Owens things with the Black Lives Matter thing, how that works as well. I'm pretty sure I've covered it with the David Icke and the Jewish community as well. So I won't harp on about that here, but right here, let's have a look at Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. I'm getting very much that what I've just said is the truth, that's coming through here. It was stressful, it was upsetting, but at the same time it was healing. Now, I would suggest to you that Amber Heard is in a position now, I don't know whether you want to hear this or not, this is just what's come through, where she is looking at her actions and questioning whether they were right or not. She, from what I understand, is in custody with the White Hats, possibly being processed, and she is questioning that whether what she did was the right thing or not. And I do see a change here. Obviously, we've had a change up with Johnny Depp. Obviously, the process awakened him. Oh, I've also been asked a question about whether he's going to get back with Vanessa Paradis as well. So I do want to, hopefully I'll remember to get onto that. I wonder whether they both still feel the pain of the relationship, but on some level both are understanding the necessity of this process to uncover their connection to spirit and their connection to their emotions. I mean, why they stayed in that relationship, why that relationship happened, etc. But let me do a relationship spread between him and Amber Heard, specifically around this karmic situation. I get what they've said is that what I've explained here is correct, that it was predestined, but they still have the choice whether they do that or not, but that it can be used for awakening. And I do get that Johnny Depp, on a soul level, not on a conscious level, and Amber Heard to some extent too, I don't want to be rude, but I get that she's less developed on an awakening level than Johnny Depp, knew that this was not just a personal thing. This was also a global thing. Spirit knew that, and that's why they instructed me to follow this case, although it was fascinating and so much fun to follow it, and all the beautiful community that built up around it as well. I do get from this relationship that both have, thank you, that's a beautiful message, about Johnny Depp regaining his heart. I do get that both at some level, both of these parties, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, had or regained their authority in the situation. I get that being with the Black Hats, obviously you lose autonomy, you lose authority, and both must have at some point agreed to do that for their different reasons, for their different purposes. I'm sure we've heard Johnny Depp explaining he felt the need to support his family. Amber Heard more perhaps on a personal level. However, through this situation, both have grown or are growing, and although Johnny Depp had to sit on it for a while, he is finding a closer connection to his heart again, that he lost in some previous lives. Sorry, I'm getting through his connection with the black cats. He did lose his connection to his emotions and his heart, and his ability to kind of bring that forward and express that and sit in that, which is obviously a huge part of our spiritual path. I get that both Amber Heard and Johnny Depp have or are regaining, at different levels, have and are regaining some of that connection. Amber's obviously working on this a lot. I get that both parties had a very strong connection to the black cats in previous lives on different levels, and that's why they've come to this situation here. So although a lot of this is predestined, it's predestined through choice. We are at our pre-incarnation planning. We decide what's going to happen in the life ahead of us, in the incarnation ahead of us. But even when we incarnate, we still have a choice what we do with that. It's not, we choose that predestined state, but we also choose whilst we're in it what we're going to do with that. However, as I'm sure I've already said, and as I'm sure you already know, when you're in that situation as a child, it does colour your thinking as you're moving forward. However, this is an opportunity for awakening, and we come into the incarnation quite clear about knowing that. So I get from that yes, it was a huge part of the pre-life planning. It was a huge part of repaying karma. We always have a choice, and it is how I've described. That's certainly what I got from that reading. There was an agreement between the two of them. They obviously stuck to that agreement, not just for themselves but society as a whole. But once again, that was a karmic thing to repay some of the debts. If both of them have had close interaction with the black cats in previous lives, they would have had a larger role to play in society, for awakening society. And I get that both, whether we like it or not, both have taken their part in doing so. Now, given that, let's have a little bit of a look into Amber Heard's karma here. I get that she is awakening from this. I do get that it's probably because she's in some kind of custody and ready to be processed. Yeah, there you go. Very unhappy, but is coming to a realisation about this, why this has happened. She is ready to walk away from the energy. Obviously, karma isn't repaid by that. You have to accept that you have to repay your karma. These both want to come out, actually. Okay. Now, I was getting confused as to why these two cards were coming out here. The star to me is about our off-world family very often, and obviously we've got a complete change going on here. Now, I would expect this to be the outcome, whereas there seems to be an alternative being offered to her, maybe to go off-world. And thank you, I've just gotten to go to the world where the black hats would have originated their ideas, let's say. The original, thank you, I get it. The original place where the dark hats would have come from, which would not, I imagine, be a very nice place. However, I do get that in that sense she is a star seed, but that she is from this particular place. There is a choice being offered to her. I don't think she likes either one. There is a choice being offered to her. However, I don't know which one right now she's thinking is the best or the worst option. I get that this is the one that she's most likely going to choose. I don't get that this is a very attractive offer, but it is an offer nevertheless to be reassociated, let's say, with her off-world family. It is an option. Either way, those are our options. So I get that I'm getting here that in this life, she will repay some of the karma, but that it is, it will be continued into a future life. It could be that if she picks the second option, she will be reincarnated into her star family's home anyway, which I can assure you is not going to be that pleasant. If you can imagine, the black hats follow the rules of that particular starseed family, so I'm sure you can imagine what kind of situation that would be in. However, I know a lot of you want to know, is she going to karmically, publicly on Earth be punished or shown for her true colours? The information that I've just been given, and there it is a lot of her punishment is going to be the exposing of what she has been doing. And they're saying 2 cards again, there you go, of what she has been doing with the black hats, specifically in her karmic, I don't want to say retribution, her karmic repayment of her actions as a part of the black hats. And I do get, like I said, I did have a message, apart from everything else that we've seen. I mean, like her being in the parties and her drugging people, etc, 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 attacking people at parties, etc, etc, attacking her girlfriend. I did get a message from one of my lovely followers that the DUI guy had recently done a video about her association, like I said in the intro, I think it was, with certain feminist groups, and we can take those to be dark hat covers, including someone called Michelle Domenham. I don't know how true that is. I've not had a chance to watch the DUI guy video, but I get that this stuff is coming out, it's more and more, and I get that that's a lot of the karma that she's seeing. Obviously, a lot of the karma is the fact that now she's off world. Whichever she chooses, she's going to be off world, and that is her karma, that she is going to have to work through this in that other place, yeah, in that off-world place, where now she's going to have to face that retribution, because she knows that it doesn't have to be that hard, it doesn't have to be that painful, because she's lived on Earth, and now she's going to have to go back to that situation. Maybe she can help change that situation. That's up to her to decide. She doesn't want to go back, but she's got no choice now. Whether she goes back in this incarnation or whether she goes back in the next incarnation, she's got no choice. She was part of this, and this is part of what she has to do to repay. However, in terms of her public, I get that this probably is not going to be exposed. It could be, but I get that if it is, it's a long way off. I know that a lot of you are concerned with her public, the public perception of who she is and what she has done. Thank you. sorry, I just got a message then. What she has done publicly in terms of how she is viewed, and how and in relation how Johnny Depp has been viewed. Now, I get a lot of this stuff has already come out, is already coming out. I've already said some of the things that I've seen. We've seen certainly with this Twitter thing and Elon Musk that a lot of the Amber Heard fans on Twitter are no longer being supported in the same way that they have been. A lot of them are not being shut down, but are not being supported in shutting other people down, because we knew a lot of that was going on. I get that that's part of it as well. So I get that a lot of that is going on, and I get that a lot of the time, even if you are not seeing any swings in the observation of him being vilified, I think that's the right word, isn't it? I hope so. Him being understood as not the abuser, is that has already happened on some level with most people. She is going to get her retribution. I don't know whether the retribution is going to be publicly exposed. But what they can expose for the good of the greater good, is being exposed. But what they said to me earlier was it's going to continue with this drip, 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 drip. It's not going to come out all at once, the same as the awakening generally, the physical awakening and the spiritual awakening. For the good of the people, we can't have the consciousness falling very quickly. This has and will continue to shift perception, and the only way that's going to happen is the exposing of what's been going on, and Amber Heard is the ideal person to be exposing that, which will help repay some of her karma, whether we like it or not. But at the end of the day, the payment has to be made anyway. I get we're through the worst of this with this, but I get that there's still more to come out with the Amber Heard thing. Well, I think apart from that very last question, we have one more question to ask. I was asked, would Johnny Depp and Vanessa, I presume Paradise, get back together again? Now, I've not heard anything along these lines. I don't know whether any of you have. Obviously, they have 2 children together, and I presume it was a cute relationship. They seem to still be friends now. Although I don't know, I've not looked into that. But let's have a look very briefly. It did fascinate me when I saw it. I did wonder whether that's likely to happen. As far as I'm aware, he's moved on and he's dating other women, or at least he's certainly been seen with other women around him. I don't think he's going to be short of female attention, is he? And this is Vanessa. I'm going to say I'm not gonna rule out the possibility, but that possibility is not on the cards presently. I'm getting very strongly here from Johnny Depp that he is in a position where he just wants time out from relationships to heal. I'm not saying he's not going to have short-term relationships, but I'm not seeing him dive into any kind of serious relationship right now with Vanessa or with anybody else. He needs time to heal from this, and he needs to be alone to do that. He knows this. This is what I'm getting. However, I do get quite strongly here that the relationship was a good one, and the connection between them was a good one. Whatever that looked like, I'm getting that it did. I would wonder whether Vanessa would be open to that right now. She may be open to that possibility, but I get that in the end, I don't think she'll take that opportunity. I understood her to be with someone else, actually. I thought she was in a partnership with someone else. But anyway, the idea of getting back together with Johnny Depp would not be out of the range of her imaginings. However, I get that if they did, it would not be the best option for them. I don't get a going back here. I don't get a going backwards here. I get a moving forwards here. And I get that they both consciously or subconsciously understand that. So no, I'm not seeing that on the cards presently. I can't rule it out permanently, but I don't think it's, personally, I'm not seeing it's the best option for either of them right now. Right, let's see if there's anything else that I have got to cover here. No, I think that's it. That was so much fun. I'm so glad I did that reading. Thank you so much for all your comments and updates. I really do appreciate it, and all your questions. There's been fantastic. I really have enjoyed this reading. Thank you so much for joining me. If you've enjoyed this reading, please like, share, comment, subscribe, click the bell, do the YouTubey things. All my links to social media are in the description below, as well as a link to my website, as well as my PayPal tip jar and my Amazon wish list. Donations are always welcomed, never expected. What I do appreciate is you being here with me today and joining this amazing community and following this whole thing through. It's been so much fun. I'm not saying this is the last JD and Amber Heard, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard video. We never know, do we? If enough stuff comes up, I shall do another video. But thank you so much for joining me. I really have enjoyed this video. Hope to see you in another video. Thanks for joining me. Bye.